Hey everyone, this is the Bearded Zeno, and this is going to be a old throwback review of a 1/6 scale Sideshow figure that I've had for years. And I think I've had this for good at least 8 or 9 years. And it's the Fox Mulder home version from the X-Files. Don't know if you know this about me, but I am a huge fan of the X-Files. That was pretty much my childhood. That was my Saturday morning cartoon of sorts. I would always want to watch that show, always interested in it, love it to death. And I've been binge watching it lately on Netflix, and got in the mood to buy some of these that I never picked up now that I have the money. And well, I just wanted to review the one that I have right now, and it's this Fox Mulder home version. And I gotta say, this figure is really, really cool. And this was my very first 1/6 scale collectible figure. I mean, of course, there was always the Hasbro 12-inch figures and everything like that, but they're nothing compared to this. This was my very first dipping my toe into quality figures, and it was ages ago. Back when I was, a kid, I still play with my toys. I actually used to play with, 12-inch figures all the time. I even have a big vehicle that I used to roll them around in. It was really cool. But this, this I always took good care of the figure itself. But some of the accessories are gone. We'll get to that later on in the review. But first off, let's take a look at the head sculpt. And you might notice it's not up to today's standards. But if you look at the base, let's see where's. Let me go ahead and move that. You see it's from 2004. So this thing is rather old. And I think for the time, this was really damn good. I mean, if you look at some of Hot Toys' early stuff from a couple years after this, it wasn't that great. Like their Hicks from Aliens looks nothing like Michael Biehn. At least this looks like David Duchovny. You can look at this, you're like, oh, that's Mulder. You can see it here. This is really good. And this was the precursor to Hot Toys. So I gotta say, the face sculpt is pretty good for the time. By today's standards, it's not that great. I mean, I still think it's good, for a Sideshow figure at least. But, Hot Toys wouldn't put anything out like this. And, it's not that great of motion on the head, but I will say that it looks pretty damn decent for the time. Pretty fat-faced. A lot of these in this line were fat-faced. But, hey, like I said, it's from 2004, so you can't really knock it too much. But I will say that I do hope that either Hot Toys or Sideshow reissues these figures. Not because, they're expensive or anything like that. I mean, they're in the range enough where I can afford to get them. They're not too bad except for the exclusive ones. Those are kind of ridiculous. But, like, the Walter Skinner one, God, the thing goes for like $1,000. But this guy, you can snag him anywhere between $20 and $150 depending on what kind of sale you get. But I will say that I would love to see these updated because I think they're really cool. I mean, they're already, they're pretty nice, especially for the time, but I think they need an update. Anyways, the one accessory that I still have with him is his gun, because it's always been his hand, never removed, unless I wanted to demonstrate something, but I'll go ahead and take it out right now. And as you can see, it's just a little Beretta, and it does cock back, which is, when I got this, it blew my mind. And it does have a removable clip. Really cool. And you notice I'm shooting in somewhere different today. Just want to try different lighting in here. And put this back in his hand. Put the hand back up there. I really like this pose that I have him in. I think I might have the hands off. Yeah, I got the hands off slightly. We'll fiddle with the pose a little bit. But you see he's got the bulletproof vest on, a white undershirt, and a tie up underneath. And, excuse me, I do have the holster still. So, yeah, that's the other accessory that I have. Otherwise, the rest of them they're around here, but I don't know where they're at. You can see these little snags here that I need to cut off. But I wanted to leave it as is for the review, because this is pretty much the way it was when I got out of the box all those years ago, except for the shirt being all linty and slightly yellowed from dust and everything. I need to take it off and give it a good wash in the dryer, not a washer, but Yeah, I just want to do it the right way and not shrink it. Got to take the time to do that. It's not coming off on camera as yellowed, but in person you can tell that it's yellowed due to dust. So it's just, caked with dust, so I need to clean it out. You can see all kinds of cat hair on there and dust. I mean, yeah, you can tell this thing's old, that it's been around an animal, but this is my very first figure that I have. I love it. Actually, I had this as a kid, so wasn't treating it that well. And let me go ahead and take him off the stand here. Alright, just going to show you the rest of his outfit real quick. He has the bulletproof vest on, like I said, the white undershirt, the tie, and he's wearing black, dress pants with a belt that I can't get to stay tucked in for the life of me. I've never been able to get it to stay tucked in, so I just kind of stick it behind the holster. Works really well. I think I got the holster on the wrong side, but I like it being on there for some reason. And he does have these little black dress shoes that do come off, and he has socked feet, which is really cool. Now, as far as accessories go, he only has, I only have two. Also have the stand, which he's never really left the stand because he kind of needs it to stand up, but it's not a crotch grabber like what Hot Toy comes with. It's actually like a waist grabber. And I have to say, I don't like it that well because it's always visible in the figure. I mean, you can find a way to position it where it's not. Like, I usually like to stick it in the functioning pockets on the figures. I think that works very well, but then you also risk ripping the seam, so I suggest doing that very carefully. But it works, but you'll always be able to see a little bit of silver going in there, so I don't like these, but I do like the big circle bases. I think those are better than Hot Toys. But moving on, this is all the stuff in the box. I don't know where the actual outer box is. I've been missing it for years and years and years and years and years. Took me a good 3 hours to find this, but yeah, it was buried somewhere and it's all crappy now. But I do get to show you where all the accessories were. There was a newspaper here that said Elvis dead at 42. That's where the holster went. That's where the gun went. Oh, it used to be a baseball right there. A flashlight, a cell phone, and a radio with an earpiece. Now, I still have the radio, but the earpiece broke off long ago. Don't know where that's at. And the rest of these are going to be somewhere. But I will say that the cell phone is very fragile. And this is very fragile. So if you're buying this off eBay, be very careful with those two pieces. Alright. Now we need to talk about the articulation real quick. It's just got a really good arm joint. That's the range of motion that it's got there. And it does have a double joint in the elbow, which works pretty good. And then, yeah, that's on both sides. And the way the arms work is they have a swivel right above that cuff there. And then there's a little joint right there, like a hinge joint. And they just a little peg. Very similar to Hot Toys pegs, actually. But this doesn't come with any alternate hands. So that is a bummer for these figures. But, you can position the hands pretty much any way you want to due to the swivel and this hinge. So that's a bonus. And the legs, pretty good range of motion on those. Double jointed knees. And you saw the actual ankle. It's not that great. It's just a hinge. No pivot, no nothing. Ankles are pretty weak on these, so you're going to need a stand. But otherwise, the articulation does pretty much what you want it to do, but it's nothing special. Now, obviously, this is going to be the final verdict whether or not this is a recommend, not recommend whatsoever. And I will say that for what it is, being an older figure, it's definitely held up as well as it could have. Definitely think the face sculpt is pretty good for the time. The body is nowhere near as good as a True Type, but it's still pretty good. And, the accessories are great if you have them. I don't, but, I showed you where they were at, so you know what they are. You can see pictures of them. It's just points to show off the figure, and, the articulation, what it looks like in hand. In case, somebody's looking on eBay, looking for a review, stuff like that, because, there's, none of these out here, so I figured I'd go ahead and do one. But I will say that I think it's absolutely worth getting, but you know, I do have an attachment to this figure. This was my first 1/6 scale figure that I ever got. So I do think that, you know, these Sideshow figures are worth going back and getting if you like the property and if they haven't been remade by Hot Toys. The X-Files, of course, they haven't been. You know, the only way you can get these kind of figures is from the Sideshow versions. So I say gobble them up when you can. Unless I'm bidding on them, so don't. Seriously, I lost out on 2 damn auctions this week of 2 of these. Pissed me off. I wanted to, but I lost 2 too. I was going to have 4 of these coming in, but I only got 2. It makes me upset. Cat hair. Yeah, it's one bad thing about having cats. Anyways, I do recommend this figure, and you know, I highly enjoy it. I love that it's in my collection, and hopefully you will enjoy this as much as I do. Hopefully you can snag a good deal on it. And this is the Mulder home version. It's from a specific episode, so yeah, it's not like a general FBI outfit, but this one I actually snagged for about $30 on clearance at Big Bad Toy Store back in the day, so got a really good deal on it back then, and these are going for anywhere between $20 to $150 depending on what sale you get. So I'd say if you find a price that you like, grab it, because it's absolutely worth it. You know, especially if it comes with all the damn accessories, like mine doesn't. But like I said, you know, I was an idiot kid and lost all of them. But I really do love this figure and highly recommend it. Anyways, I've been the Bear Zeno for Clicking Figures Entertainment. Hopefully you enjoyed this review. If you did, leave a like. Have any questions, comments, concerns about the figure, leave them in the comments down below. And I'll see you in the next video. And oh my god, the casting line on the hand. Ew.